Hello students, this is the picture of the doyen of Indian writings in English, that is R.K.Narayan. We are going to read the essay A Bookish Topic by R.K.Narayan from the syllabus of BA Part 2, Paper 2nd, that is Prose and Fiction, DDU University, Sikar. I am Dr. Sunita Jakhar, Associate Professor in English, Government Arts College, Sikar. R.K. Narayan lived from 1906 to 2001, born in Madras, now Chennai, a Tamil Brahmin, were 8 siblings, that is, 6 brothers and 2 sisters. In childhood, Narayan lived with his uncle and maternal grandmother Parvati. She called him Kunjapa, which in English means the little one. An avid reader, his house in Mysore opened to the public as a museum in 2016. Narayan lived here for 4 decades from 1950s to 1990s, living and writing there. Narayan received many awards and honors including Padma Vibhushan, second highest civilian award of the Republic of India for, I quote, exceptional and distinguished service, unquote, and Padma Bhushan, which is the third highest civilian award in the Republic of India for, I again quote, distinguished service of a high order without distinction of race, occupation, position, or sex, unquote. Narayan's locale was Malgudi, like Hardy's Wessex and William Faulkner's Yognapatova. Fictional Malgudi is located in Mysore. It has the Saryu River, Market Street, railway station, and Mempi forests. It is a portmanteau term of two Bangalore localities, that is, Malleshwaram and Basvanagudi. I have a question for you students. What is a portmanteau term? It is formed by multiple words combined to form one word. For instance, look at the first word. It is brunch. It is formed by joining lunch and breakfast. Similarly, Eurasia is formed by joining Europe and Asia. Oxbridge, Oxford plus Cambridge. Spork, spoon plus fork. And I have already told you about Malgudi, which combines two localities of Bangalore, that is Malleshwaram and Basvanagudi. Now let's come to the summary of the essay. R.K. Narayan's essay entitled A Bookish Topic is a lively comment on the borrowers of books. It describes a common experience of all those persons who have books which many people like to read. Such people, when they see a book which they like, borrow it and after that forget to return the book. But the owner of the book is disturbed. He might need the book. He tries to have it back from the borrower who fails to return it on some pretext or the other. He calls such a person a book pirate. In spite of his best efforts, he does not get his book. He gives a general suggestion to people who own books. He writes, I quote, if you love your books, don't lend it to anyone on earth, unquote. Dear students, after hearing the summary, you can make a comparative chart of the characteristics between the author, that is Narayan himself, and the borrower, who is called a book pirate. Narayan is a bibliophile, that is, a book lover. He maintains a library, but the borrower is nonchalant or casual. Narayan is understanding, considerate in the sense he gives ample time to the borrower to return the book, but the book pirate is imprudent, irresponsible. He shows no desire to return the book. Narayan is responsible, but the book pirate is inconsiderate to the pain of losing a book. Narayan is unpretentious, he understands the psyche of the book borrower, but the book pirate is shallow, lacking the depth of responsibility. Narayan gives himself a positive address calling, I quote, generous brood, unquote, and the borrower a book pirate. Now let's read the text line by line. The meanings of difficult words are written in red ink so that you can easily identify them. I have written the text on the screen. You can either read from the screen or your own textbooks. I will provide you words with meanings. I'll only cover difficult words and give their meanings, which are already written in the red ink, as I have told you before. And after every page, I'll throw some light on the essence of each page. So let's come to the first page. First, the difficult words. First word is precisely, which means exactly. Second word, book pirate, which refers to the book borrower. Here on this page, the agony of a book lender is revealed in an interesting manner. The borrower doesn't give a chance to the lender to ask back the borrowed book. As the borrower stealthily hides, thus avoids coming face to face with the borrower. Now, next page. It has first difficult word, which is perusing, which means to read carefully. Second word, aversion, which means dislike. Third word, generous brood, which refers to people who think deeply. So now you read the text on your own and I'll give you the meaning or essence of this complete page in my own words. The writer calls such a borrower the worst one, and such a person develops an aversion both for the book and the person who lent him the book. The poor lender goes to him again and again. For a few days, he keeps saying, I quote, I have not yet read it, but I would like to, if I may, unquote. And the lender of the book, ever a generous brood, says, I quote, oh yes, by all means, keep it. You have kept it so long, it would be pointless if you returned it without going through it. Keep it, unquote. Now let's come to the third page. First difficult word is abruptly, which means suddenly. You read the page on your own, and now I'll explain you the meaning of this complete page. With lapse of time, the lender starts feeling embarrassed to ask for the book again and again. But the lender misses the book in the bookshelf as he is a book lover. On being asked about the book, the borrower shamelessly forgets about the book and he asks, I quote, which book? Unquote. Now, let's come to the next page. First difficult word is stimulate, which means to raise the level of activity. Second difficult word is condescending, which means arrogance. Now you read the given text on the screen from your textbooks or the screen, and I'll come to the meaning. In this portion, the borrower shows no intention of returning the book and makes a series of excuses. Now the next portion. Here it is a simple portion. Here I don't see any difficult words which need to be explained. So I'll just straight come to the meaning or essence of the portion. Here the lender makes his brother-in-law the scapegoat and tells the lender that the brother-in-law who is out of town has the book now. Now, this part has quite a lot of difficult words. So let's take the difficult words one by one. First word is correspondent, which means one who writes daily. Second word is trail away, which means to gradually become silent. Third word is misanthrope, which means a person who dislikes human beings. Next word is scrutinize, which means to examine closely. Next word is manifesto, which means the future plan. So now I'll come to the meaning of this portion. Here the borrower uses his old tactics of evading the topic and hiding shamelessly. The book lover is helpless and thinks why this cannot be complained to the police and why this issue is not in the election manifesto of a politician. Now let's come to the next portion. As you can see, it is a simple part. Here there are no difficult words which need to be explained. So I'll straightway explain the essence of this portion. In this portion, Narayan points out that if you love your books, don't lend it to anyone on earth. This ought to be a guiding principle, like you can't eat the cake and have it too. Narayan says that he knows an enthusiastic lender of books who keeps his library in shape. Now, let's come to the next page. First, the difficult words. First word is levies, which means to impose. Next difficult word is pugnacious, which means quarrelsome. In this part, this enthusiastic lender keeps a record of books he lends. He fixes a date on which the borrower has to return the book. If he fails, he has to pay a fine of 6 pice per day. He charges this fine from everybody, even his closest relative. He demands replacement of any book that is lost. He is a very strict person in this matter. Now, let's come to the next page. It has one difficult word which is complacent, which means with satisfaction. Now I'll explain the essence of the portion. As you know, this is the last part of Narayan's essay where Narayan talks about his own plight of being an author as well as lender of his own books. He says that he gets 6 copies of the books he writes from the publisher. In many cases, he does not have even one copy left with him. If he needs the book, he has to borrow it from the library. So students, it is very, very sad that a person like Narayan, he writes his own books and he has to borrow his own book from the library or somewhere else in order to read. So whenever you borrow from somebody, please be very careful in returning. Now, let's come to some questions and answers. I have framed some multiple choice questions. Let's discuss one by one. So the first question is, to whom the writer never forgives? First alternative is one who borrowed money from him and didn't return. Next option is one who robbed him. And the third option is one who borrowed a book and then didn't return. So the option C is the correct alternative. Let's come to the next question. So the next question is, to whom the book was passed on by the book pirate? First alternative is to his neighbor, which is wrong. Second is to his wife, which is again wrong. Third is to his brother-in-law, which is the correct option and the correct answer. Now let's come to the third question. Let me read the question. How the man with the big library maintains his books? First alternative, by cleaning the racks daily. It is a no. Second option, by taking notes from lenders on ledger and charging them fine if they return late. This is the correct option, third option, by replacing old books by new arrivals, which is again the wrong alternative. Let's come to the next question. I'll read the question first. Why one should not lend books to others? First option, because they will learn, which is wrong. Second option, they will become wiser, which is again wrong. Third option, they don't return the books back, which is the correct answer. Now, the last question of the exercise. How many copies a publisher provides at the time of publication to the author? First is 4, second is 2, third is 6. And this is covered in the last portion of the essay, and the correct answer is C, that is 6 copies. Thank you, students, for staying with me.